Hello, I'm Rebecca Settle, and to wrap up my master's degree in Sustainable Business Administration, I am completing my capstone project by partnering with the Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania. The Girl Scouts of America has committed to a tree promise, which is a promise to plant 5 million trees by 2026. To do my part in helping with the Tree Promise project, I am overseeing how troops in my local council will each plan their own event simultaneously on the same day for Earth Day of 2022. With my help, my local council has set a goal of planting 2,022 trees on Earth Day of 2022. The Girl Scouts in the Heart of Pennsylvania, or GSHPA for short, is made up of 14,000 girls spanning across 30 counties in central and northeastern Pennsylvania, including the following counties shown on this map. This is a map of Pennsylvania, and the colors represent the different regions inside of the council. The Girl Scouts in the Heart of Pennsylvania is my local council. The map also shows the camps located in the council, the service center, and the main headquarters, which is located in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The girls across these counties are split up into troops, making around 1,200 troops total. Each troop is separated by grade level, starting with kindergarten, also known as daisies, and continuing until 12th grade, known as ambassadors. Each troop is made up of 1 to 3 leaders and 10 to 12 girls. I have been working closely with the Director of Outdoor and Program Experiences, Latricia, to help coordinate and organize the newest program that they are rolling out. Taking this back to the beginning, to 1 Trillion Trees, which is a global group with a mission to plant 1 trillion trees in countries around the world with a goal to conserve, restore, and to grow 1 trillion trees by 2030. There's a United States chapter of this group to plant their 1 trillion trees in the USA, and the GSUSA, the Girl Scouts of America, is helping them to create a tree promise to plant 5 million trees by 2026. The Girl Scouts of America, also known as the GSUSA, has made a Girl Scout tree promise where they plan to plant, protect, and honor 5 million trees by 2026. This is a conservation initiative to help promote the importance of trees on our planet, to help educate the girls on the environmental impact that trees have, and to help fight climate change. Since April of 2021, the GSUSA has began their goal of planting the 5 million trees. They are calling on help from daisies to ambassadors, parents, and community to help. So, why 5 million trees? Well, 5 million trees will provide habitat for wildlife and capture and store over 2 million metric tons of carbon dioxide over the next 50 years. This is equivalent to taking 425,000 cars off the road for a year, eliminating the annual carbon emissions from 239,000 homes, or not charging 255 billion smartphones. Since there's a global and a countrywide initiative to plant trees, Pennsylvania wanted to jump on board. Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State, so they created the Keystone 10 Million Trees project. The Keystone 10 Million Trees is a partnership with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and they have set a goal to plant 10 million trees for the state of Pennsylvania. So the Girl Scouts in the heart of Pennsylvania, which is my local council, has decided to work with the Keystone 10 Million and the Chesapeake Bay Foundation to help reach their goal. So, what is the purpose of all these trees being planted? Well, planting trees can have a huge impact on the environment, such as trees are home to 8 out of 10 species found on land. That's over 5 million species. Help They help improve water quality, which ties back to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and their purpose of keeping the bay clean. All of the streams in central Pennsylvania flow into the Susquehanna River, which leads to the Chesapeake Bay. But most importantly, trees release oxygen to help us breathe. A healthy 100-foot tall tree can make 11,000 gallons of water from soil and release it into the air again as oxygen and water vapor in a single growing season. And a single large tree can produce approximately 260 pounds of oxygen per year. The average tree lifespan can be from 30 to 300 years, meaning that the trees that we are planting now will have an even longer effect. So, with my knowledge from school, I am able to coordinate in a sustainable, organized way for these trees to get planted with the Girl Scouts. I think the most important part of planting the trees is for the Girl Scouts is for their Girl Scouts and their education that they're going to receive. Our impact now affects the younger generations, so educating younger children is important because the future is theirs. Making the world a better place for future generations starts with our children, so why not focus on the girls who are in Girl Scouts? The Girl Scouts is all about teaching girls to be better, to be leaders, and to help change the world. According to 1 trillion trees since 1912, Girl Scouts has had a special place in the hearts for caring for the environment, beginning with our founder, Julia Gordon Low. The Girl Scouts promise and law encourage us to use resources wisely to make the world a better place. So, the Girl Scout Tree Promise Project is our long standing commitment to protect the future for our planet for generations to come. And as you can see, I have the promise and the law here, which both state to use resources wisely and to make the world a better place. Since my local council is the Girl Scouts of the Heart of Pennsylvania, I am working with them to get some trees planted towards the Tree Promise goal. They have asked me to create an Earth Day framework to get to the 1,200 troops to be involved in an Earth Day tree planting event. Latricia and I have the troops planning their own events simultaneously on the same day so that we can get to our goal. With my help, the GSHPA Council has set a goal to plant 2,022 trees and to have 50 active events the day of. Since Earth Day falls on a Friday, these events will take place on the day after Earth Day, which is Saturday, April 23rd of 2022. We decided on 2,022 trees based on the year 2022 and in hopes that if 500 girls participate, that equals out to almost 4 trees being planted per girl. I have created a how-to framework that explains in detail how each troop can plan their own event. I have created my framework in a form of an invitation with who, what, when, where, why, and how, but the how part being so packed full of information. This is an example of the rough draft from part of my framework before all of the final details, decorations, and final edits were put into place. I needed my framework to be very simple so that girls in lower grades might want to participate, but will still understand how to plant a tree or how to plan an event. But the girls who are older will understand and still have fun with the project and the whole event. At the same time, the framework needs to be so full of information that the troops will not have questions or need assistance when planning their events. Another goal was to try and make the tree events as sustainable as possible and incorporate lots of environmental facts and tips into the framework so it stays environmental, it teaches the girls a little bit, and it ties back to the roots of my master's degree. The first step in the framework is for the girls to do research. Research is how their event is going to come together. The girls will need to find a place to plant the trees, what trees they will plant, and then where they will get their trees from. The point of having the girls do all their own research and get their own resources is to have the girls in control and learning more from the experience if it's hands-on. We want the girls to be hands-on instead of going through the Girl Scout Council to do all of their work for them and get their supplies and resources that they need. It's also important that the troops are making connections and making partnerships while working and preparing for their event. The troops will have to educate themselves on the trees that are native to Pennsylvania and what trees are appropriate to plant in which locations. Then they will have to decide if they want to host a fundraising event or get money in order to buy trees or reach out to people and businesses and ask for donations of trees and or money. On the Girl Scout website, there is a list of nurseries in Pennsylvania that have trees, or they can find their own tree supplier. The website also lists some tree species that the girls can pick from, although the Girl Scout list online varies from season to season. I have created this list of trees that were picked out for the options of the fall 2021 tree planting events. Next, they will have to their find land to plant their trees. This might be a difficult part, but I have links to all the resources connecting anyone in any place that the girls might be able to use for help. Once the girls have had all of their basics of where and what kind of trees they want to plant, they'll have to figure out how many. The girls will then start to prepare for their event, figuring out who they want to invite. They have options since the event is their own to create, such as making it a community event, working with other troops, or inviting their parents and guardians and families. The troops will also want to make sure that they are assigning someone to take pictures the day of the event in order to record it, or invite the local news and media. Once the girls have a plan in place and know what trees to plant, they will go onto the Girl Scout website where they will fill out a form about their event so the council and I can have note of their event. Then we can advertise and promote. The deadline for the event form to be completed is March 19th of 2022, giving us a month to prepare. During that time, the girls will need to research what tools they will need and how they can properly plant a tree. They will also need to gather and research any materials that they will need to plant trees, such as gloves, shovels, mallets, stakes, tubes, and netting. All of these are materials that are needed when planting a sapling. A sapling is a tree that is over 3 feet tall. The length of the sapling stage depends on the tree species, but saplings have defining characteristics such as flexible trunks, smoother bark, and the inability to produce fruit and flowers. Pictured here are the proper ways to plant trees depending on how they come from the nursery, if they come wrapped in burlap or if they come in a plastic container. Pictured here is a picture that I took from a tree planting event that I attended back in April of 2022 when the Tree Promise was just getting kicked off and we were just getting into our capstone projects. You can see that the recently cleared area where dead trees were taken down. We dug holes evenly apart, we planted trees and covered them with tubes and netting to protect them from predators in the environment. We planted 100 new trees this day, and the trees that were originally here were cut down in 2018 due to poor tree health and safety concerns for campers. After our Earth Day of 2022 events are complete, this is what the outcome should look like. After the trees are planted, the girls will have to come up with a tree planting maintenance where the trees will need to be watered every 7 to 10 days, more often in summer, and other tasks will need done such as delittering, weeding, mulching, pruning, and fertilizing every 2 weeks for the rest of the year. I will also be creating an online tracker for the troops to be able to go to the website and enter their number of trees that they have planted that day of the event. This will help to define the way for the Girl Scouts of the Heart of Pennsylvania to measure successes along the way. The purpose of this project is to educate Girl Scouts on the importance of fighting climate change and what trees can do. This is why the most important project is designed to leave research up to the girls, so it helps them get the most from the experience. If the girls just showed up somewhere and planted a tree, it wouldn't have the environmental education behind it, and they wouldn't learn as much or remember it for as long. After the girls complete their event, they can track their trees and earn their Girl Scout Tree Promise patch. Patches and badges are rewards that the girls earn for completing skill building activities, and pictured here is the patch for the Tree Promise events. All girls who participate have the option to order the badge to remember this project and to be rewarded for their hard work. Financially, my project is going to help both the council and the troops. The troops will not have to spend their allowances if they are able to host a fundraising event or get donations, and they will save money for extracurricular activities they do as groups. The council has materials, and so the girls can save money on that. And the council will save money because they will not be planning tons of groups tree planting events if each troop is planning their own. Something else that I would like to achieve is creating this framework so that it can be useful and used for future tree planting events and future Earth Day events. Just a few changes would have to be made in order for the Girl Scout Council to use my framework for years to come. I grew up in Girl Scouts from kindergarten up until graduation, where I then helped out as a leader to the youngest groups of girls. Along with myself being involved, I still have 3 younger sisters involved, and both of my parents are assistant leaders. It makes me proud knowing I can educate young girls, especially my sisters. No matter the outcome of my project, I hope my framework can help create something that will educate girls and that stick with them forever. I'd love to make a difference, and knowing I could potentially do something that helps educate future generations and the community like the Girl Scouts is happy. This project is a big deal for myself as it wraps up my degree, and I am proud of the hard work that I have done. Here are my references, and thank you for your time.